Welcome back, everybody, to episode 20 of the CG Sports Podcast. Today, we're going to be going over my Week 16 predictions, so let's get straight into it. Starting off with our bye weeks, we do not have any this week. As I said last week, I'm pretty sure for the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, there's no bye weeks. Starting off with our Friday night game, we actually had Friday Night Football this week, which is pretty cool. We got the Vikings and the Saints. The Vikings are coming off a loss to the Bears, and the Saints are coming off a loss to the Chiefs. I expect this game to be pretty high scoring, two pretty good offenses. I'm giving Drew Brees 3 passing touchdowns, and Alvin Kamara is going to rush for 2 touchdowns. And for the Vikings, I'll give Kirk Cousins 2 passing touchdowns, and Dalvin Cook will rush for 1 touchdown. Saints win this game 41-34. Next up, we've got our Saturday games where we have 3 of them, starting off with the Bucs and the Lions. The Bucs beat out the Falcons last week in a pretty close game, and the Lions lost to the Titans by 20+. I expect this game to be an absolute blowout for the Bucs. I mean, the Lions have been nothing short of a disappointment this year. I don't expect anything different. I expect this game to be a blowout, as I said. Brady throws 3 touchdowns, and Ronald Jones rushes for 1 on the ground. And for the Lions, I'll give DeAndre Swift 1 rushing touchdown in this game. But the Bucs win this one easily, 37-7. Next game we've got is between the Niners and the Cardinals. The Niners lost to the Cowboys last week, and the Cardinals beat out the Eagles. This is going to be my upset game of the week. I know a lot of people would take the Cardinals in this game, but I'm going to take the Niners here. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Nick Mullins is hurt, as well as Jimmy Garoppolo, so C.J. Beathard will be starting at QB for the Niners. I think he throws 2 touchdowns in this game. For the Cardinals, I think Kyler Murray passes for a touchdown, and Kenyon Drake rushes for 1. But the Niners win this game 23-17. Next game we've got is between the Miami Dolphins and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Dolphins beat out the Pats last week pretty easily, and the Raiders lost to the Chargers on Thursday night. This should be a pretty close game as well to go along with the other ones. I give Derek Carr 2 passing touchdowns in this game, as well as for the Dolphins, Ryan Fitzpatrick also throws 2 touchdowns. I think the Fins win this one off a couple of field goals in the final couple of minutes and win this one 26-23. Moving on to our Sunday games, starting off with the Giants and the Ravens. The Giants lost to the Browns last week, and the Ravens blew out the Jaguars. Giants wide receiver Golden Tate will be out of this game with a calf injury. I think this is going to hurt their offense a lot. He's one guy that Daniel Jones likes to go to a lot. And speaking of Daniel Jones, he's questionable with an ankle injury this week, but he is also very much expected to play. The Ravens will be without cornerback Jimmy Smith, who is out with a shoulder injury. And their defensive tackle, Calais Campbell, is questionable with a calf injury. He's been questionable with a calf injury the last 3 or 4 weeks, and every single time he plays, I don't expect nothing different. I think he's going to play in this game. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than most people think. I think a lot of people are expecting a big blowout from the Ravens, but the Ravens have not been doing the greatest the past couple of weeks, and the Giants have had a pretty underrated and solid defense all season. But when you're looking at it, it's still Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson throws 2 touchdowns in this game, rushes for 1, and then their running back J.K. Dobbins will also rush for a touchdown. For the Giants, I think Daniel Jones throws a touchdown, but an interception as well. And Wayne Gallman will rush for a touchdown. He's been great all season on the ground. Ravens win this one 34-23. Next game we've got is between the Browns and the Jets. The Browns beat out the Giants last week, and the Jets upset the Rams for their first win of the season, which was pretty phenomenal. Really disappointing if you're a Rams fan, but it is what it is. I think the Jets got very lucky last week. They caught the Rams playing very sloppy, and they really didn't get anything going until the second half. I don't think we're going to see the same thing against Cleveland. I think Baker Mayfield throws 2 touchdowns in this game. Nick Chubb rushes for 1. For the Jets, I really don't think they're going to do too much. I think Sam Darnold will get 1 touchdown probably in the 4th quarter when they finally manage to get an offense going. Browns win this one very easily, 27-10. Next game we've got is between the Bears and the Jaguars. The Bears beat out the Vikings last week, and the Jaguars lost to the Ravens. Bears defensive tackle Akeem Hicks is questionable with an ankle injury, but he is expected to play. Bears linebacker Khalil Mack is questionable with a shoulder injury. He's pretty similar to Calais Campbell. Every week he's questionable with a shoulder injury, but he plays every week. So I'm going to give him the start here. Jaguars are going to start Mike Glennon at QB. I still don't know why they're not playing Gardner Minshew. It's weird because he's not great and the Jaguars aren't winning games, but you might as well let the dude pad his stats, and I think he's definitely better than Mike Glennon, but this should be an easy win for Chicago. I give Mitchell Trubisky a touchdown and an interception. I think their running back David Montgomery rushes for 2 touchdowns. Very underrated. If you have him on your fantasy team, you've probably been winning a lot because he's a really underrated running back this year. For the Jags, I think Mike Glennon throws a touchdown, and James Robinson will also rush for a touchdown, but the Bears still take this one 30-17. Next game we've got is between the Falcons and the Chiefs. The Falcons lost to the Bucs last week, and the Chiefs beat out the Saints. The Falcons are not going to have Julio Jones for another week, who still is struggling with a hamstring injury. They also won't have their center Alex Mack, who is out with a concussion. For the Chiefs, their wide receiver Tyreek Hill is questionable with a hamstring injury, but he is expected to play. This isn't anything serious. This should be an easy game for the Chiefs, I think. I think Mahomes throws 3 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell rushes for 1. The Falcons' defense really has not been good. For the Falcons, I think Matt Ryan throws a touchdown. Todd Gurley will get one on the ground. Chiefs win this one, though, 40-23. Next game we've got is between the Bengals and the Texans. The Bengals upset the Steelers last week in a crazy game, and the Texans lost to the Colts. Bengals wide receiver Tyler Boyd is out with a concussion. I think this is really going to hurt their offense this week because he's the only decent receiver on the team. Ryan Finley will once again start for the Bengals at quarterback. He played horrendously last week. I think he had a touchdown and 2 picks, but the Steelers just played worse. Simply, they just played worse. But I think Finley doesn't even throw a touchdown in this game. He does throw an interception, and I think Giovanni Bernard is going to get a rushing touchdown in this game. And that'll be the only touchdown they score because for the Texans, Deshaun Watson, I think he throws for a touchdown, rushes for a touchdown, and David Johnson picks up a rushing touchdown on the ground as well. Texans win this one 24-10. Next game we've got is going to be between the Colts and the Steelers. The Colts beat out the Texans last week, and the Steelers lost to the Bengals, as we said. The Steelers are not going to have their kicker, Chris Boswell, which could affect this game. Obviously, he is a phenomenal kicker, one of the best in the league when he's healthy. I think they will. I don't believe they were able to sign a kicker, so their punter is going to be playing kicker for them. So obviously he's not going to be able to make the long kicks. He should be able to make some extra points, but when it comes to the longer field goals, he's not going to be able to do that. I think this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be very exciting. I'm giving both Big Ben and Phillip Rivers 2 touchdowns in this game, and both the running backs, Benny Snell and Jonathan Taylor, I think will grab a rushing touchdown. But I think the Colts take this one off a couple of field goals in the fourth quarter. Steelers lose 4 in a row. Colts take this one 30-24. Next game we've got is between the Carolina Panthers and the Washington football team. The Panthers lost to the Packers last week, and the Washington football team fell to the Seahawks last week. Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey is questionable with a thigh injury and could play in this game, but I don't expect him to. I don't think he's ready to come back just yet. I think we could see him week 17. If not, then obviously we won't see him. Washington's quarterback Alex Smith is questionable with a calf injury. He is not expected to play. His coach said he was practicing a little bit, but limited, and he's iffy to play on Sunday, but I don't expect him to. Washington also won't have their linebacker Thomas Davis, who is out with a knee injury. This is going to be bad. He's kind of like that field general on the defense, kind of calls the plays and makes everything happen. So not having him is probably going to hurt them as well. This means Dwayne Haskins will start at quarterback for Washington. This should be a close game. I'm giving Dwayne Haskins a touchdown. Antonio Gibson rushes for a touchdown. For the Panthers, I think Teddy Bridgewater throws 2 touchdowns. Mike Davis rushes for 1, and the Panthers win this one in a very close game, 27-23. Next game we've got is between the Broncos and the Chargers. The Broncos lost to the Bills last week on Saturday, and the Chargers beat out the Raiders on Thursday. Chargers defensive end Joey Bosa is out with a concussion. This is going to be a game changer. That man is so good at putting pressure on the quarterback and just disrupting the offense in general. So not having him is really going to hurt them. Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen is questionable with a hamstring injury. I do expect him to play in this game. This game should be pretty close all around. For the Broncos, I think Drew Lock throws a touchdown, and Melvin Gordon will rush for 1. Melvin Gordon's going to get a big load. during this game. Phillip Lindsay's out on IR, so I think he'll be getting majority of the snaps. I'd say probably about 75-85% of them. For the Chargers, I think Justin Herbert throws 2 touchdowns and Austin Eckler rushes for a touchdown. We obviously saw Austin Eckler make his return a couple weeks ago. He's looked pretty decent. I think he gets his second touchdown of the year, and the Chargers win this one 24-20. Next game we've got is between the Eagles and the Cowboys, a NFC East divisional matchup. The Eagles lost to the Cardinals last week, and the Cowboys got beat out by the Niners. The Eagles will be without their tight end, Richard Rodgers, who has actually been pretty good for them. He caught the Hail Mary at the end of, I believe it was, the Chargers game. And then their linebacker, Duke Riley, has been really solid too. Makes a lot of good tackles in the run game, decent in coverage. So losing those two will probably hurt them a lot. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott is questionable with a calf injury, but I do expect him to play as well. For the Cowboys, I think Andy Dalton throws for a touchdown and Zeke will rush for 1. And I think the Eagles outmatch him this week. Jalen Hurts throws 2 touchdowns in this game. He's looked phenomenal the last 2 weeks, having 5 touchdowns already with only 1 pick. And he's looked great the last 2 weeks against Arizona and New Orleans. I think he throws 2 touchdowns. Miles Sanders rushes for 1. Eagles take this one in a very close game, 30-26. Next game we've got is between the Rams and the Seahawks. The Rams, as we said, lost to the winless Jets last week, and the Seahawks beat out the Washington football team. After last week, I think it's going to be a tough game to win for the Rams, and it's tough for me to give them a win after what I just saw. I give Jared Goff a passing touchdown, and their running back Darrell Henderson will rush for 1. For Seattle, I think Russell Wilson throws 3 touchdowns, and Chris Carson rushes for 1. Seattle takes this one very easily. Rams take back-to-back losses and look close to falling out of the playoffs. Seattle wins it 34-20. Next game we've got is going to be our Sunday Night Football matchup between the Titans and the Packers. The Titans beat out the Lions last week in a pretty... It's a blowout. It's a blowout. I'll put it simply. Titans blew out the Lions last week. Packers beat out the Panthers on Saturday. This should be a very exciting game. 2 powerhouses, one from the NFC, one from the AFC. Should be a very exciting game. I think Ryan Tannehill throws a touchdown in this game. Derrick Henry rushes for 2 touchdowns. He's been great all season, basically unstoppable. I don't see the Packers defense having an answer for him. For the Packers, I think Aaron Rodgers throws 2 touchdowns in this game, and Aaron Jones rushes for 1. This game is going to come down to the final couple of seconds. I think the Packers go on a game-winning drive here in the final, minute and a half, 2 minutes, and I think that Mason Crosby kicks a good field goal as time expires. Packers win this one in a close game, 27-24. Now for our Monday night game, the final game of this week, it's going to be between the Bills and the Patriots. The Bills beat out the Broncos last week on Saturday, and the Patriots lost to the Dolphins. To put it simply, I think this game is going to be an absolute blowout. The Bills have been red hot. They started off red hot. They kind of slowed down a little bit in the middle of the season, and they're really picking it up in these past few weeks. They've been winning some good games, and they got themselves in the playoffs, so they're looking good right now. I think Josh Allen throws 3 touchdowns in this game. Devin Singletary will rush for 1. And for the Patriots, Cam Newton throws a touchdown as well as a pick, but that's all the scoring the Patriots do. The Bills win this one easily, 40-13. That's going to do it for our Week 16 predictions. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have the predictions out, and I should be dropping a Jalen Hurts video sometime this week. Make sure y'all follow my Twitch at CG Sports with 2 S's at the end, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.